Hey guys, Reginald Duck here, back today with another deck profile. So for today I've got my Dinosaur FTK deck. It is also just normal Dino, but I'm playing like one extra Garnet so I can FTK. So let's get into it. So for the main deck, I've got 2 copies of the Boss Monster, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. This card is absolutely insane. You can summon it by banishing 2 dinosaurs from the graveyard. It can attack face down monsters once each, does 1000 damage for each it sends to the graveyard. Quick effect, destroy a card you control or in your hand to set all monsters your opponent controls. So absolutely insane. It's also 35, so just basically summon it, you win. It's even good going first because you can Book of Moon your opponent's entire board. Really cool. Got 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. This is the heart and soul of the deck. If you can't get away to Oviraptor, you're probably not going to win, which is kind of sad, but I mean also this card is genuinely insane. So when you summon it, you can add a dinosaur to hand or send a dinosaur to grave, but generally we head to hand, usually Miscellaneousaurus, and then you can destroy a dinosaur monster on the field, level 4 or lower, to target one in grave and then summon that back. So it helps you destroy your own, like Baby Ceratosaurus, or destroy the token for example. So absolutely insane. You have to play 3 Scrap Raptor. A lot of people only play 2, but there are a lot of combos you can do if you open just this and Lost World, whereas there's so much space in the deck. I was playing at one point about 15 hand traps, so I'd rather just play as many starters as possible, all gas, let's go. 3 Scrap Raptor basically has 2 effects. So firstly it's a tuner, which is really important, but you can destroy a card you control including itself, and that will grant you an additional normal summon of a scrap monster this turn. And then its other effect, when it's destroyed you can search a scrap monster, so basically add scrap chimera and then you normal summon scrap chimera. So really cool. Helps you get into like, your scrap link, which is absolutely insane. I think it's correct to play 3 because there's nothing else good to play and it is a combo starter. So, and then for your 2 Garnets so far, we've got the 1 Scrap Chimera and the 1 Scrap Golem. This isn't a Garnet as such because you can, if you don't search, I mean you can just normal summon it anyway, but the Scrap Golem, if you draw this, you cannot actually FTK because this needs to be summoned from the deck off the Scrap Wyvern. There's not really another way to summon it because I mean you've already used your normal summon, so try not to draw this. Any other Garnet in the deck is summoned from hand or deck, but this is just specifically beamed out from the deck. But every other Garnet is okay to draw. So those 2. Oh, so I actually didn't say what these did. Firstly, so just this one, when it's normal summoned, you can summon a scrap monster from grave, but this can't be used for a synchro summon except for a scrap monster, so you often have to link with it. And then this, just once per turn, target a scrap monster in grave, and then just special summon it. And then on to one of the most exploitable cards in the deck. Got 3 copies of Baby Ceratosaurus. This card is so good. Basically, when it gets destroyed by card effect, mandatory summon from deck a level 4 or lower dinosaur. It can also summon itself, which comes up in a lot of the combos. So basically you can, like, you know, destroy baby, summon baby, effect of over, destroy baby, summon baby. Lots and lots of babies basically. But really cool. I do like this card a lot. Gets a lot of your combos started. 2 copies of Animadorned Archosaur. I really like this card. I considered playing it at 3 because, like with Scrap Raptor, I mean you can do a combo with it if you open this and Baby Ceratosaurus for example. That is full-ish combo. It's not an FTK but it's full combo. So basically when it's summoned, destroy a dinosaur on your field or in your hand to add double evolution pill. So you can with it being level 1, you can also summon it easily from the deck by just banishing Miscellaneousaurus, summon this, destroy baby, win. So 2 copies. 1 Petite Pteranodon. This is like Baby Ceratosaurus but worse, but you do still want more targets because you might not draw a baby or you might not have access to it for whatever reason. So this summons level 4 or higher, so it can still get your Oviraptor from deck, but it can't like Baby Ceratosaurus into Baby Ceratosaurus for example. But it can summon like Pancratops on your opponent's turn if you have this in hand and destroy it, so really cool. 1 copy of Miscellaneousaurus. This deck would be so much better if this wasn't at 1, but I mean, it is what it is, can't really change it. I really do wish, I hope on the next list it goes back to 2 or 3, but I don't think it will. Basically, it's protection from hand traps and like interaction, but also it summons from the deck. So there are a lot of combos where if you open Misc, but obviously you're never going to open it, you have to search it, which means like entire combo lines are so unlikely. But basically, protects you from activated effects. So protects your dinosaurs from like being Nibiru, whatever else. And then in the graveyard, banish it, you can summon a level 1, banish it and another dinosaur, you can summon a level 2. Basically, however many you've got, you can banish summon a big guy. So generally for your combos, you only need it itself, because that's what the Archosaur fill like does, but really, really good. 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pankratops. It's good, because obviously you only win 50% of die rolls. So going second, it's actually really, really good. Going first, you don't really want to draw it, but I mean, a lot of your cards are 2-card combos anyway, so it can just be an additional thing. And then, I mean, Lost World plus Overraptor is an FTK, so it doesn't really matter what your other 3 cards are. So really, really cool. Go on, I'll explain what this one does as well. Basically, summon it if your opponent controls a monster and you don't. Sorry, if they control more monsters than you do, my apologies. And then obviously it's 26, and quick effect, send it to the graveyard to destroy a card on the field. So really, really good, just outs a lot of boards. 1 copy of Giant Rex. This card is really good, basically. It can't attack directly, but if it gets banished, hard ones per turn, it summons itself to the field. So it helps with your rank 4 plays. You can banish it off the double evolution pill from graveyard to then summon it back, so you can make like another rank 4. Really cool. Helps make Dweller, for example. Got 1 copy of Dogoran the Mad Flame Kaiju. You do have to play this for the FTK, but I mean, you could also play the Doodle Beast Tyranno, because you just need a level 8 that you can beam out from the deck with the double evolution pill. But basically, this is just better, because obviously, you know, you are going to go second quite a lot, because I lose every die roll. But it's just nice having a searchable kaiju with it being a dinosaur. You can search off Overraptor, also looks cooler. And I don't feel the Doodle Beast is that good, because it doesn't give you an additional normal summon. So you can immediately normal summon it, but if you've already normal summoned, you can't. So basically it just becomes a hand trap pop on your opponent's turn. Whereas this is like a really strong sort of removal card. I just think it's better. That's it for the main deck, for the monsters, sorry. 3 copies of Lost World. It's half of your FTK. So with it being an FTK focused build, you do want to be able to just maximise it, so you can like terraforming, set rotation, everything. 3 Lost World. Basically, all monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense, except dinosaur type monsters. So that's really good. Just helps your guys feel bigger, even though they're not. But watch out, if you're trying to FTK, if this is on the board, their guy will lose 500 and you will end up doing 7-5 damage. So make sure you don't do that. Another effect of this, when a dinosaur is summoned, you can summon a token to your opponent's side of the field, and then while they control a token, they can't target your cards. So you can't get effect veils, you can't get imperm, well, you can't get imperm down because they control a token. And then, if a dinosaur normal monster on the field would be destroyed, you can destroy a monster in your deck instead. So if you use Overraptor's effect to blow up the token that you've given them, use Lost World to protect the token and then destroy Baby Ceratosaurus from deck. So it's actually insane how much work this card puts in. If you don't draw it, the game is really, really hard. So 3 copies. 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Again, just more consistency. 3 more copies of Overraptor. You really want to see Overraptor Lost World in this deck. I'm trying to dig through the deck as fast as possible. No pun intended. So what it does is it adds a level 6 or lower dinosaur from your deck to your hand. So if you've already got Overraptor, you can add a Baby Ceratosaurus or a Misc, depending on what you need. So 3 copies. Despite it being an FTK deck, I am playing Pot of Prosperity, because the Lost World plus Overraptor combo is still insane even if you don't FTK. Instead of going for the FTK line, you can just set up a massive board instead. So, or if you're going into time, you can still do 4k under this. So if you know, because your combo is going to take you what, 2-3 minutes at least, and that's if you know you're playing quite fast. So you can always just Prosperity play out your combo. Obviously, you know, do it at a reasonable pace, but you can still deal 4,000 effect damage under this because the effect damage would be halved. So basically, you banish from your extra deck 3 or 6, and then you reveal that many cards, and then add one to your hand. You can't draw for the rest of the turn. So if you are going for the, if you go first, say it's game 1 for example, and you've not got a very good hand, you'd prosperity, and you'd actually banish all the extra deck targets for the FTK, because you won't be able to FTK, and then you can just like go into, like, say for example an Appaloosa, probably a Dweller, or like say a Savage Dragon as well maybe. So you actually have a lot of targets that you're willing to banish off this, but bear in mind that you can still do 4k if you need to. 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill. This card is really good, so it's searchable off the Archosaur, and you can banish a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur from grave to summon a level 7 or higher dinosaur from hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only activate 1 per turn. So basically, you can summon our Ultimate Conductor, which is what you tend to do if you're not going for the FTK, but if you are going for the FTK, then you summon out the Doggeran because it's level 8 and you can synchro it off. 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. This deck has no problem like getting rid of monsters on the board, but if you've got loads of negations, you just want to blank the board, out the board, make your own board, and then it's basically like you've gone first with this card. So again, a lot of 2-card combos. If you feel you can do it without Dark Ruler, you don't need to Dark Ruler. This card also is not even hard once per turn. So for example, I was facing Dark World the other day, and the guy has a massive board of Dark Ruler. He uses a quick play fusion spell, you know, on a new chain, summons out the new fusion, like another one, and a Dark Ruler him again. So this card is actually insane. So 3 copies. Just the 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. I think it's really good. It just helps either playing through hand traps or helps just going second in general. So basically, if your opponent activated a monster effect during your main phase, you can either draw 2, take control of one monster your opponent controls which doesn't target, or look at your opponent's hand and put one of those cards back in their deck. So really, really good, just helps you go second, helps you going first if you've got hand traps. Just play 1 Black Garden. You have to play this for the FTK. This is just like the one additional Garnet that you wouldn't otherwise play, because I mean, Dino has plenty of bricks as it is, but this one gives you so much more power, and you're not actually missing out on any starters, so there's not really much else to play. Could just be a hand trap, I guess. So 1 copy of Black Garden. It's really important for the FTK because you can search it off a level 5 synchro, and it generates an additional token which then makes your Bishbalkin 8,000 attack, so you can burn them for 8,000. 1 copy of Called by the Grave. You just don't want to get hit with a hand trap. It's not fun, so you'd just rather play Called by, get rid of any Ash Blossoms, Veilus, whatever. There's not that many hand traps in the format, at least not at my locals, but I mean, it's 40 cards, so you've got to play at least 40, so might as well put this in. And then for the last 2, we've got Terraforming and Set Rotation. This actually is really good because it means you play around Imperm. If you activate this as your first card, you give them the Black Garden, and instead of popping the token previously in the combo with the Scrap Wyvern, you actually pop the Black Garden, so you still give them 8 monsters total, so the Bishbalkin would still be on 8,000. So I'll show the combo later if you want. And then 1 Terraforming is just an additional copy of Lost World, because with it being an FTK deck, you want as many copies of every card part of the FTK as possible. So that's it for the main deck. And onto the extra deck, we've got 1 Lagia and 1 Dolka. These are just for your standard end boards. This is a non-once per turn monster negate. That does destroy the monster. These both require 2 dinosaur monsters. This one is basically a spell speed 2 Solemn Judgment. So when a monster would be normal or special summoned, or a spell or trap card is activated, you can detach 2 XYZ materials from this card, negate the summon or activation, and destroy that card. So it literally does summons, normal summons, special summons, spell and trap, just like Judgment. If you are ending on like Appaloosa for example, you probably summon a Lagia as well. So those 2, both insane still after all these years. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, because you have to. If you have any 4s in your deck, you need to play this card because Tear is unbelievably broken. So That's the reason I'm actually playing the FTK this format, because I mean there's nothing more broken than getting FTK'd. So 1 dweller, and then the actual reason you can FTK. 1 copy of the Chronomaly Machu Mech. This card is absolutely broken. Another reason I built the FTK, I got this really cheap because it's damaged on the back, so I got this mega cheap, which I can't complain about. Basically it requires 2 level 5s, once per turn you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between its original attack and its current attack, and then it gains attack for how much damage you do. So basically you give them the Bishop Balkan, it becomes 8,000 attack, target Bishop Balkan with this, you do 8,000 damage. So 1 copy, absolutely insane. And then for the next card we've got 1 copy of Borrowload Savage Dragon. So basically if you can't do the FTK you want to end on a Savage Dragon because the card is insane. So when it's summoned you equip a Link monster from graveyard to it, and then it gains negates once per turn up to the number of Link rating the card has. So for example you just get to negate and it'll go down to 1, and then next time you negate and then it's done. But basically it comes out and it's 2 Omni negates, 1 your turn, 1 their turn sort of thing. Really good. Also gains a load of attack. It negates but doesn't destroy, which I used to think was bad, but now Tier exists, I actually think it's quite good. You can force them to like make awkward plays, getting around stuff, so really good. I am playing 1 proxy for this because with the Christmas strikes and everything, the Royal Mail strikes, I cannot get post. So I ordered it about a week ago, but I don't want to keep waiting for ever. So this is the other Mathmech Synchro. All it is a level 8 Synchro tuner. You don't use its effect at all. I don't know what it does. Basically, you make it, you synchro it off. So instead of this being a level, I think that's 10 or 12 maybe, it's a level 8 Synchro tuner from Mystic Fighters. It came in secret rare. Yeah, so basically it's just a target for synchroing off. I don't want to keep everyone waiting just for that. 1 copy of Garden Rose Maiden. This is part of the FTK, so basically when it's synchro summoned you search Black Garden. Also it's level 5 so you can overlay it for Machu Mech, and that is literally all it does. And you've got the 1 copy of Bishop Balkan, the reason this all works. So basically it has an effect where you can summon tokens to both players. Summon as many tokens as you can to your side of the field, then your opponent gets an equal number of tokens. So you summon 3, they get 3. And then this card gains 1,000 attack for every monster on the field. So basically, you know, and then you give it to them, you burn them for it. So that's it. It requires a level 8 or higher tuner and non-tuner that are the same level. So the Doggeran and that Synchro we just talked about. So kind of awkward to make, but you can make it off a 2-card combo in this deck. Then for the links, we've got 1 Link Karibo. You do actually need this for the FTK, but also you do generally want to play it because you can get like a dinosaur in grave, and like sometimes you just need to get Archosaur to grave so you can do stuff. 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, also used in the FTK. It's just about like clearing up your tokens, getting space for stuff. So 1 Phoenix. 1 Geonator Transverser. This card is also part of the FTK. Basically, you summon it to your link zone, and then you can swap the control of the 2 cards this points to. So you can put the Bishop Balkan here, put a token there, and then switch them round. So then you get the token, they get the Bishop Balkan, and now you're burning them for the 8,000. So really cool. 1 copy of Scrap a Wyvern. This card is really good. You need it for the FTK, but also you need it anyway because Scrap Dino is insane. Basically, when it requires 1 monster plus 1 scrap monster, and when it's link summoned, reborn a scrap monster from grave, then destroy a card you control, and then when a scrap monster is destroyed that you control, you can summon a scrap monster from deck and then destroy a card on the field. So really, really cool. It's kind of awkward to understand, but when I show you the combo later on, it will make a lot more sense. So 1 Scrap Wyvern, 1 Nightmare Unicorn. I'm playing Access Code and I wanted to play Link 3 because it felt wrong not to. So 1 Unicorn, everyone knows what this does. access code. I don't think I've ever summoned this because, I mean, your boss monster's 35 and can attack multiple times, but it is nice to have, so 1 access code. And then lastly, 1 Appaloosa. We make this all the time. Basically, you just go first, you might set up a 3 material Appaloosa, a negate, another negate, and like a destruction or something. So really, really cool. Just no explanation needed. If you can't FTK, you might as well make Appaloosa. So that's it for the extra deck. So this has been my Scrap Dino deck profile. I'm actually going to do the combos in another video because this is already like nearly 20 minutes long. So in that video I'm going to go over the FTK and how to build a board similar to this. So like, comment, subscribe, go and watch the next video please. Thank you very much.